Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. I am sharing the Diamond Press Mailbox today. I just received this. I had to open it up almost the second that I got it, and I wanted to make one, but I did run into a little bit of problems, so I'm hoping that it will turn out okay. So there are a ton of instruction sheets on here for this project. And then there also are a ton of dies. These will fit in the Grand Marquise. This is the larger die cutting machine that Diamond Press released earlier this year, I believe it was. Look at this cute little mail envelope. Oh my goodness. And then there's a smaller one too. So cute. So this will fit in the larger Grand Marquise. These are larger dies. And then there are some stamp sets in here with a ton of stamps. I am not going to use them all, so I'm definitely going to have probably a second video. There's just no way. It is just chock full of stuff. So this one I'm just going to keep it to creating the box because I wanted you to see that, and then I'll have to revisit this again because I have so many ideas for this. They have just filled this full. This item, I should say, is available on Diamond Press, their website. So my Diamond Press, I think it's .net. I'll link it in the description. This is not through HSN. This is through Diamond Press, okay? So I am going to cut out the pieces here, and there's a little die that makes a slot for the box if you choose to do that, okay? So I'm just going to begin. I've got the pieces cut. So there are 4 pieces, I believe it is. There's the 2 main ones that create the box, and then there are the pieces for the lid, okay? So I've got this piece, this is the front of the box, and I am going to go against the directions here. This is not what causes the problem later on, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp this because I want to emboss it. And I was worried that if I went ahead and created the box and then stamped it with heat embossing, that I might run into some problems. So I have just put my little thing that you rub on there to keep the embossing powder from sticking. I can't think of the name of it right now. Anti-static tool, I think is what it is. And I'm using Versamark here to use. I'm going to use some gold embossing powder. And I've got my stamps on here. I'm going to give it a second layer just to make sure. It's a little bit hard at first to see it because this is a watermark, but also you can use this for embossing. But then I can see as I peel it up that it looks good, and hopefully I've got good coverage. So I am just rooting around getting the things that I need. I've got this gold embossing powder. I'm pretty confident this is from Stampin' Up, and it's probably 15 years old, would be my guess. I'm not totally sure where it came from, but I think it probably is from Stampin' Up. But it's a very bright gold that I love, and I have been using this for years and years and years. I've got a little like piece of fuzz or something, I guess maybe that got in the embossing powder. I'm not exactly sure where that came from, so I was just taking my tweezers and hopefully not making too much of a mess with it. All right, so now I'm going to get my heat tool here, and I am going to add the heat. I've got it at the highest setting, and then I've talked about this many times. I don't really emboss much, at least on camera anymore. This is my favorite technique, I'm going to say. I can still, when I was doing this today and videotaping it, watching the magic of it, I can still remember it probably was 25 years ago now when I first learned about heat embossing at a friend's house. We were in Colorado at the time, and I can still remember that moment. It was in like her family room, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. So it just never gets old. So if you don't know about heat embossing, check it out. It's awesome. Okay, so back on task. I am turning my paper to match the picture. So we got this little edge here, and again, there are instructions, full color instructions if you did pick this up, but I just wanted to share it with you on camera as well. And I'm going to line these up, and I am going to press this down so you can see that I've got kind of the two, kind of like a V going to each side, or a larger V, but it's got the sides going up. So this is looking correct. I'm going to let that dry really well. I am using liquid adhesive here. And then now I can work on the top of the box. There's a lid and kind of a backer, I would say, for it, kind of the top of the box. Like you would if you hung it on the wall, you could have a backing thing. So I went ahead and heat embossed the two of these. And so I've got my top that's going to be kind of the back of the box. And then I have the one with the slit, which will be that you can open and close. Okay. So it's showing me that I'm going to do a two-step process here. So I flip this over and then I'm going to lay this, I'm going to call this a scalloped piece on here and glue that down would be first. It tells you to do it in order. And then I'm going to kind of stack this second piece, which will be my lid. And I'm going to hopefully get that to where it will fold down, because I know that lid is going to fold and crease in to be the lid closing the box. Okay, and this is where I get off the rails here. I'm looking at the picture and it's got the glue on the front of the embossed piece. That is not correct. You need to have it the opposite way. And I realized that after I glued this down, and you'll see it in just a second, because I thought, well, wait, now that's not the right direction, because I know that box is going to close, and I still continue to glue it. I'm looking at it right now as I'm recording, and I know that it's wrong. So in just a second, you'll see that I tore this off, because I realized when this is going to close, the backing, the top of the box is going to be incorrect. So I was hoping to salvage this, and so I just said I'm going to put some glue on here. I'm going to turn it around and we'll see what it looks like, because I really didn't want to heat emboss this again. I left this error in here. So you will see, if you decide to stamp this piece, you can just leave it plain if you want. You need to make sure that it is going the correct direction. Okay, and now I can see that is right. And then this is going to cover a little bit of it, but that's the lid. So this part is correct. I'm just going to, there's the little tab is smaller. I'm going to line this up basically at the edge, and then I'm going to kind of crease it down, because you can see here that I'm making the top of the box, but it's going to be in front of that scalloped piece. So when I'm happy with where that is, I'm going to press that down. I'm going to let that dry really well. Since I'm using liquid adhesive, I want this to dry. These boxes, by the way, they're super easy. After you do it the first time and you make that mistake, they are super easy. So I decided to cut another piece of the scallop, and I am going to cover it up. My little boo-boo, so when you open the box, it won't look so obvious with that torn off piece. And I'm just kind of deciding how I want to layer it in here. I'm going to turn it the opposite direction, and I am going to lay that on there to cover my mistake. So thankfully I was able to salvage this. So just keep that in mind if you do have the embossed piece, that you have it going the correct direction, because there will be a wrong and a right side. If you do the stamping, I should say, it doesn't have to be embossed. If you stamp that scalloped piece, you need to make sure that it is going to be at the correct side of the box. Okay, so I have let that dry, and now I am ready to close the box up. So I'm going to put a generous amount of adhesive here, and all of this is listed on the instructions. If I don't show it in camera, and you have this at home, it will be in your instructions. But I'm a visual learner, so things like this help me figure things out sometimes. And so I'm going to squeeze this down, press this down. I've got my bone folder, just making sure that I've got a good adhesion, and I'm going to let that dry really well. Okay, so now when I'm confident it's pretty dry and it's not going to move on me, I'm going to squeeze the box, twist it the opposite way, and you can see how cute this is. So now I can close this up. There are 2 tabs on the bottom, and then there's a 3rd tab on this flap, okay? And that is what is going to create the bottom of this box. And there are all the instructions there. It's going to tell you to put some adhesive on the 2 tabs, press that in, and then put your 3rd little section, I should say, the bottom of the box, okay? And so I'm just going to kind of gently close this up. It is a little trickier when you use a little bit of liquid adhesive. So I'm trying to squeeze the box open to slide that in so I don't have a ton of glue. But I do have a little bit of extra glue, but that's going to be on the bottom. I'd rather have a little too much than not enough and have it come apart. I'm also going to take my bone folder. You know I love my bone folder. It's an extension of your hand, especially on a 3D project when you cannot get your hand in there. I am a big fan of the bone folder. It has worked many, many times for where my hand cannot reach. So if you don't have a bone folder and you like to do 3D projects like this, I encourage you to look into finding one. They're not terribly expensive, and they are just a craft must have. I keep saying every year I'm going to do a video of the must have craft things, and then I never do it around the holidays, but this is definitely a must have. Okay, so things are drying. It is now time to fold these flaps in. I'm going to crease them. There is a little individual tab on each side. You can see a little small one, and that is the only thing you're going to glue on here. You can see there's a little bit of picture to the left with the blue, and so that's where the glue is going to go. So I'm going to take my time here because I'm not going to be able to do both at one time. It will pull apart. It's too hard to hold with your hands. So I am just going to take my time, hold the flap, and I want to make sure that is going to hold. So I will hold that until it's nice and wet and attaching, and then I can let that dry before I move on. And when that side is dry, I will move on to the other side. And I will pinch this closed a little bit, and then the box top will be complete. So I was able to salvage it, and I don't think that you'll be able to see my error or my mistake inside. I have so many ideas for these boxes, and I cannot wait to make more of them. This one is complete, and it's got the little slit, so I'm thinking Valentine's Day. I'm thinking just a gift without the slit in it, making a little gift. And so on this one, I don't think this will close on its own or stay closed. I think you're going to need to seal it. And so I was looking for some Velcro pieces, which I know I have somewhere, but I really don't know where they are. They kind of move around. So what I did is I had this little tiny pack of magnets, and it's just temporary for now because I need to put a little bit of better adhesive on one side. But if you wanted to salvage it, you could use a piece of Velcro to close it, or a little magnet like this. And so then you could open and close it. And it's just so cute, so cute. So I did want to cut a few of the envelopes that I think are precious. My children are grown and at college, but I think I can still do something really cute and fun for them with this. You could fill the box with some gift cards. You could fill them with some of these little envelopes, stamp on them, and then on the back, maybe you could write like good for a coupon for something, good for a Christmas movie, good for a cup of hot cocoa at the store, or something fun for your older kids. And then you could stamp even more on there. You could put some candy canes on there. You could use some of your K-cup sets that we have. I know we all have several of the K-cups from a Diamond Press. If you're a fan, you could use those to decorate them and make little treats for gifts for your older kids, if you maybe got some older kids or family members, a coupon that they can redeem. The sky is the limit. Or you could do these little envelopes and stamp letters to Santa, and then have your child or grandchild could write on the back and drop it in the box. I mean, really? Like, I'm really losing my mind here. I really can't help it. It's the cutest thing. And when I saw it, I had to have it, even though my children are grown. All right, so here are the two little envelopes that you could decorate further. I didn't spend a lot of time decorating these because I just wanted to show them to you, but look at that. Can you imagine your grandkids coming and dropping those in there every time they come to your house? Okay, so again, I'm so excited for it. All right, this box, if you don't have the top, it's almost 5 inches. If you just wanted to use it without the top, I think you can. I think it looks better with the top. It's about 7 inches with the back, okay? Almost right at about 2 inches with the width. and then the depth of it almost 2 inches. So it is a great size. And just anyway, be sure and check back. I'm going to have more videos, at least one more with this, because I have to share more. But I just wanted you to see how fun this is. And if you don't have one, you might want to check it out over in the store. If you do have it, I hope that you're inspired to pull it out. Be sure and leave me a comment. Let me know if you've got any other ideas too. Thanks so much for watching. Happy crafting and have a great day.